Imagine you wake up at 6:47 in the morning, 7 minutes before your alarm. Your body just knows. It's been doing this for years. Same routine, same company, same commute. You lie there staring at the ceiling for a second before the day starts pulling you forward. On paper, everything looks fine. Actually, better than fine. You're making more money than your parents ever made. You've got a decent apartment, a car that works, a job with benefits. You should feel good. You should feel secure. But there's this quiet feeling underneath all of it, this thing you can't quite name, like you're running fast but not actually going anywhere, like every raise you've gotten somehow didn't change anything, like you're doing everything right and still 2 days before payday, you're watching your bank account like it owes you an apology. You tell yourself it's just how life works, that everyone feels this way, that you just need to make a little more and then it'll click into place. But here's what nobody told you. That feeling isn't a personal failure. It isn't bad luck. It isn't because you didn't work hard enough or save enough or sacrifice enough. It's a system, a very well-designed system, and once you see how it actually works, you can't unsee it. Hey everyone, it's Soluna. Welcome back to Soluna versus the System. Today, we are breaking down one of the most powerful financial traps in modern life, the salary trap. Why your paycheck feels like progress but keeps you stuck. How the system is specifically designed to consume everything you earn, and the exact moves that actually break you out of it. Let's get into it. Let me introduce you to Sarah. She's 34, lives in a mid-size American city, and makes $85,000 a year. By most measures, she's doing well. She's in the top 20% of earners in the country. She should feel wealthy. She doesn't. Here's why. Sarah gets paid every 2 weeks. That's about $3,269 before taxes. After federal taxes, state taxes, Social Security, Medicare, she takes home roughly $2,458. That's her real number. That's what she actually has to work with. Now watch what happens next, and pay attention here because this is where the trap reveals itself. Rent, $1,400. That's just above half her take-home pay, gone before she's made a single choice. Groceries and dining, $380. Car payment, insurance, gas, $520. Phone, internet, subscriptions, $130. Utilities, $150. By the time those automatic payments clear, Sarah has spent $2,580, which means she's already in the negative, and we haven't touched clothing, medical copays, a birthday gift, or anything unexpected. Now here's the psychological genius of this setup. Sarah doesn't experience this as poverty. She has a car, she has an apartment, she goes out sometimes, she looks successful. The system gives her just enough comfort to stop her from asking the deeper question, why isn't any of this building into something? This is the trap's first weapon, the illusion of prosperity through fragmentation. When money comes in as one number and leaves in 20 small pieces across the month, your brain never fully registers that you're just treading water. You have a lifestyle, but you don't have wealth, and those are two completely different things.
Now, let's talk about what actually keeps the cycle going, because this is where it gets more interesting. Think about how the system sets you up from the very beginning. You're told, get a good education. So you do. Maybe you take on $40,000 in student loans to do it. Now you need a job. Not just because you want one, but because you have debt that requires one. You find a job at $55,000. Great, you're on your way. But the moment that first real paycheck hits, something happens automatically. Your lifestyle expands to meet your income. Economists call it lifestyle inflation. I call it the system's second trap. You get that $55,000 job and suddenly a nicer apartment feels reasonable. Your car payment goes from $180 to $350 because you can handle it now. You start eating out more because you've earned it. Small upgrades, all of them individually justified. Then you get a raise to $75,000. You move somewhere better, $1,600 a month now. The car lease gets upgraded. A vacation that wouldn't have happened before suddenly happens. You're rewarding yourself for working hard. That's normal. That's human. Then $95,000. Better neighborhood, another car upgrade. Maybe you're thinking about a house now. A $350,000 mortgage at today's rates means a payment somewhere around $2,100 a month before property taxes and insurance. Here's the pattern. Every income increase felt like freedom in the moment, but every single one actually tightened the grip. Because now you need that salary. You built a financial life that cannot function without the next paycheck. You can't leave a job you hate. You can't take a chance on something new. You can't say no to a bad situation at work, because all your money is already promised to your landlord, your bank, your car company, your lender. That's what golden handcuffs actually means. It's not that the job is great, it's that leaving has become genuinely dangerous. Let me tell you about David. He works in tech, makes well over 6 figures. From the outside, he looks like someone who figured it out. Nice house, nice car, kids in a good school district. But every time David thinks about leaving his job, and he thinks about it a lot, his stomach drops. Because he's done the math. The mortgage on his house requires his current salary. Both car payments require his current salary. The private school tuition requires his current salary. He's built a life that costs exactly what he makes, sometimes more. One day, his company offers him a $20,000 raise. He feels relieved, grateful, like he won something. 3 months later, the mortgage adjusts slightly upward. His oldest needs braces, $4,800 out of pocket after insurance. His car hits 90,000 miles and starts needing repairs, so he trades it in for something newer. Monthly payment goes up $180. His financial stress? Exactly the same as before the raise. This is the system's most sophisticated trick. Your income grows, your obligations grow faster. The gap between what you make and what you actually keep stays razor thin, by design. And when you're living paycheck to paycheck, even a substantial one, you are predictable, you are controllable. You need the job. You cannot afford to take real risks. And everyone who owns a piece of your monthly obligations, every landlord, every lender, every subscription, benefits directly from your trapped state. You are a guaranteed revenue stream for other people's wealth, while your own wealth stays flat. Here's something that sounds impossible until you've seen it up close. The person making $30,000 a year and the person making $300,000 a year often report almost identical levels of financial stress. Research backs this up consistently. Once income rises above a certain threshold, enough to cover genuine needs, additional income doesn't reduce financial anxiety, it just relocates it to a higher price point. Why? Because the system is engineered so that your required expenses always catch up to your income. The person making $30,000 is stressed about rent and groceries. The person making $300,000 is stressed about the mortgage, the second car, the private school tuition, the country club membership they felt pressure to get, and the $15,000 vacation that was supposed to be a reward but is now a source of tension. Different numbers, same trap. Same psychological pressure, same dependence on the next paycheck. And here's the number that should stop you cold. Studies consistently show that over 60% of American workers, including many earning 6 figures, couldn't cover their living expenses for more than 30 days without a paycheck. 1 month. That's the margin between your current life and a financial crisis. That is not security. That is a very comfortable prison, and the salary trap convinces you this is just normal. This is just how adult life works. Work, earn, spend. Make more, spend more. Repeat until retirement. But it is not a law of nature. It's not inevitable. It's a pattern, and patterns can be broken. Here's the distinction that changes everything once it clicks. Income and wealth are not the same thing. They are not even close to the same thing. A $200,000 salary is income. It is temporary. It exists only as long as you show up. The moment you stop, whether by choice, layoff, illness, or burnout, it stops too. $80,000 in invested assets is wealth. It exists whether you show up or not. It compounds. It generates returns while you sleep. It doesn't care if your company has a bad quarter. The salary trap keeps your focus entirely on the income number. Get a bigger salary, get a better title, get a raise. And while you're focused on that number going up, the gap between your income and your expenses stays thin, and no wealth gets built. The people who break the trap aren't focused on the income number. They're obsessed with the gap, the space between what comes in and what goes out, because that gap is the only raw material wealth is built from. A person making $60,000 and keeping $1,000 a month to invest is building more real wealth than a person making $150,000 and spending $151,000. That sounds extreme, but it happens constantly, all around us, to people who, by every surface measure, look successful.
All right, enough diagnosis. Let's talk about what actually works. Move 1. Stop confusing income with wealth. This is mental first. Every time you get a raise, your first question cannot be, what can I afford now? It has to be, how much of this can I redirect before my lifestyle absorbs it? The upgrade is the trap. The redirect is the exit. Move 2. Attack the gap deliberately. This doesn't mean living miserably. It means making intentional decisions about which upgrades actually add to your life and which ones just add to your obligations. Not every raise needs a new car. Not every promotion needs a bigger apartment. Guard the gap like it's the most important number in your financial life, because it is. Move 3. Redirect the gap into assets, not liabilities. A car is a liability. It goes down in value and costs you monthly. An index fund is an asset. It goes up in value over time and costs you almost nothing. The wealth gap in America isn't primarily about income differences. It's about what people do with the gap they have. Redirect even $300 a month into a Roth IRA or a low-cost index fund and let compounding do what it does. Move 4. Build your runway. 3 to 6 months of living expenses in liquid savings. This is not a luxury goal. This is the psychological foundation of every other financial move. Because the moment you have a real runway, something shifts. You negotiate differently at work. You make decisions from strength instead of fear. You can leave a bad situation without it being a catastrophe. The runway is what converts you from trapped to free. Move 5. Build optionality before you need it. Start a side skill. Build something small on the side, not necessarily to replace your income tomorrow, but to remind yourself and the market that you have value outside of one employer's payroll. Optionality changes how you carry yourself. It changes what you're willing to tolerate, and over time, it can become the thing that actually replaces the golden handcuffs entirely. Here's what I want you to take away from all of this. The reason you wake up 7 minutes before your alarm with that quiet feeling of going nowhere, that's not a character flaw. That's a rational response to a system that is specifically designed to consume everything you earn and keep you needing the next paycheck. The salary trap is real. It's sophisticated. It works on people at every income level, from $35,000 a year to $500,000 a year. It uses comfort as the mechanism. It uses lifestyle as the cage. And it stays invisible precisely because it never feels like deprivation. It feels like progress. But progress and movement are not the same thing. Earning more and building wealth are not the same thing. And the moment you stop confusing the two, everything changes. You start asking different questions. Not how do I make more, but why does all my money leave? Not how do I get a promotion, but how do I build something that doesn't require my constant presence to exist?
The people who break free aren't smarter than you. They aren't luckier. They just saw the system clearly and decided that comfort wasn't the same as freedom. You have that exact same choice available to you right now. That's it for today. If this hit home, if you recognized your own life somewhere in Sarah's numbers or David's story, drop it in the comments. I want to hear where you are in this. Subscribe if you're new, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and I'll see you in the next one.